I'm Tom Johnson, Thomas Johnson Antique Furniture Restoration in Gorham, Maine. I'm currently working on a big piece of furniture that will be a long video, but it's not ready for today. You know, a lot of fans over the years have asked for a shop tour, and today's the day. You know, Jane and I have been here in Maine for 10 years, and prior to that, we were in Newton, Massachusetts. We had a shop there for 30 years. And I should also say that at our shop in Newton, we also had a shop dog, a Cocker Spaniel named Libby. I started doing this when I was 13 years old in my dad's shop. He was also a professional restorer, built furniture, and my oldest brother Bob ran that same business until last year. It was there for 70 years. My younger brother Greg has a shop in Avon, New York, and my daughter Emily is a woodworker in Portland, Oregon. Our house here in Gorham is an old house. It was built in 1771. That's prior to the Revolution. This building we're in now, this was an attached shed to this house. It was probably original to the house, but it's been greatly altered now to create this shop. Our barn is reported to be the oldest barn in the county, probably 200 years old. That's kind of hard to tell. So here we have the lathe. It's kind of pushed over. It's not used often. In fact, I haven't made a video, I haven't needed to make a turning for quite a while, but these kind of things come and go, then three of them will come along. I got all my turning tools. The lathe, this lathe I bought used in 1980. It's probably made in the 50s or early 60s, something like that, but it still works great. All right, just moving through the shop here. And here I have a bunch of scrap wood of various types, somewhat organized, but not really. Blankets and pads for protecting furniture. Scrap newspaper for when we need it. Not long ago we started putting up these shelves along the top of the shop where I'm marking things with boxes where they can easily be seen, and enabling me to get rid of some cabinets that were on the floor. At the center of every shop is your table saw. This is a 10-inch PowerMatic saw. I bought it new in 1979. I'd say virtually every piece of wood used in the shop starts off on the table saw, either for the rough cutting or even for the really fine, delicate cuts that you sometimes need. And then I have a PowerMatic 6-inch joiner. I always kind of wish I'd bought the 8-inch, but you know, you make do. And the joiner is primarily used to create a square edge to the face of a board. And this is my thickness planer, a Parks thickness planer, and it is also a very old machine. It's hard to know. I've never tried to identify from the serial number when it was made, but it's probably from the 50s. And a thickness planer is designed to make one face of a board parallel to the other. And it allows you to dimension a board. Say you wanted to go from 1 inch to 7/8 of an inch. Here we have our sanders and sandpaper. I like using pneumatic sanders, and of course they're never used on antiques, so you may have never seen me use them in my videos. Here is my drill and all the various and different types of drill bits, also other various tools. And then these are all big variety of files and rasps. This is an important part of the shop right here. This is my work sharpener along with a grinder. These tools, along with your oil stones and stuff, are what's really important to keep your tools sharp. This cabinet just holds a big variety of things. Staplers, more drilling equipment. My corded drills are in here, and then more equipment for the drill press. This library cabinet obviously can hold a lot of different things. It's never been that great, and in fact that's one of the reasons for all the boxes up top. I'm taking stuff out of these drawers and getting them into boxes up top. These chisels and carving tools we call shop chisels. They're not as precious as your good chisels. And here you can see I've got all these little drawers filled with screws and nails. I don't think I've ever bought less than 100 screws at a time, and we keep them all. I always have the size I need when I need it. And here are my hand planes. I have a few. I like the number 4. This is a Lee Nielsen plane. If you're ever buying a new plane, that's the one you want to get. But I also really like the number 3 plane. And this is an old plane I bought at a flea market and restored. I even have a video on that. Plane like this, your rabbit plane or shoulder plane, that's also used a lot in the shop. And a block plane, the small plane, that's also used a lot. And the drill press, you've seen me use that in a lot of different videos. Obviously it does what it does, and it's really good for more precision type drilling. In this closet is our compressor, and you've seen me blowing off stuff with the blowgun, and it's also used, of course, for those pneumatic sanders I pointed out. And here are a bunch of bench tools, and these are tools that are available to whoever's working in the shop. Just all the various stuff, pliers, screwdrivers, hammers, mallets, and a lot of miscellaneous stuff. On this wall I keep customer hardware, in other words hardware from pieces that we're working on. And I've also got projects here. I've got some planes I need to restore. I'm really looking forward to doing this scraper plane and wooden planes. I also have these are my newer scraper planes. And I also have some spoke shaves up there too, rarely used. And then of course here's the clamp wall. And here's all my clamps. And this is an effort to try to keep those organized and handy. And here we have the stationary belt sander and disc sander. I use almost exclusively the belt part, maybe because of the table, but this is invaluable for making minor adjustments to pieces and shaping pieces. This tool is used a lot. And of course here we have band saws. I have 2 band saws. They're both your standard 14-inch band saw. This one's as it sits with a 1/4-inch blade on it, but this one we added a 6-inch block to make it higher, and it has a 3/4-inch blade. And we have 2 benches here in the shop. This is my primary bench that I use. This bench is more for my helpers, or a lot of times I got projects going on both benches. And of course, as you've seen, a lot of times I covered the table saw and used it as a bench also. So let's go down this wall. We have the sink, and that's probably the most used part of the shop for many different things. This is a storage cabinet where we keep our timesheets here. I keep close time on every job. And this cabinet primarily holds brand new unopened products that we use. This cabinet holds a lot of tools. In fact, the top drawer is just all screwdrivers, all the different various screwdrivers, of which there are many that I've collected over the years. Miscellaneous stuff in here. These 2 drawers here hold my own personal tools, and which means that no one else is allowed to use these. And this cabinet just holds power tools, got my router, belt sander, heat gun. You've seen that many times. You may wonder how I place myself in the shots I take when I'm doing the photography myself. And this is my buddy Waldo right here. He assists me in making my videos, and I don't know what I'd do without him. And this cabinet, this is a safety cabinet, and it primarily holds a lot of the dye stains I use, but I also have a lot of my oil colors and different types of colorants in here also. Colorants that are used with finishes. Now, I need to build a box for my Japanese saws. Right now they're just living up here. My whole life you use English saws, and they're great for what they do until you handle a Japanese saw, much thinner blades. They cut on the pull stroke, which allows you a lot more accuracy. You can make really fine cuts. My new favorite saw is this small leaf-shaped saw that I'm using for veneer. But a lot of these smaller saws I got to cut veneer with. And of course this is a scroll saw. once again, one of those tools that's not used very often, but when you need it, there's absolutely no substitute for it. This is also a very old machine. I bought it used in the early 80s, and it was very old at that time. Actually, I ran the serial number on this, and it was made in 1963. And then this is another storage cabinet, and it holds all my oil stains, and then a few other odds and ends of chemicals. These boxes contain a lot of my touch-up materials and also various tools. These are the boxes I put on the truck when I'm traveling. So this corner of the shop, this is a rolling drying rack for when we have a lot of things, just like you see, shelves and doors. This little area here is just my general touch-up area, staining area, anything like that we need to do. It's not exactly dust-free, it's open to the rest of the shop. These are just some utility cabinets I'm brushing some polyurethane on. Here we have a shelf where I keep more finishing supplies. Here I just have my small jars of dye stain for touch-ups, my brushes, various aerosols, generally speaking, all the kind of stuff you need for finishing, mixing cups and things like that. And then this bench, this holds some more materials, and this bench I do my mixing on and various other things. It's a perpetual mess. The nice thing about this, I get a great view from here of the backyard while I'm working. So sandpaper shelves here. We use about 7 different types of sandpaper on almost a daily basis. We have more different types of sandpaper in the storage cabinet. Okay, here we are, back where we started. I always thought that to do a shop tour video would mean days of cleaning up ahead of time. But having just done it, I think the shop looks pretty good.